Number 1. 1963 Ford Galaxy, offered at $55,000 and currently located in Scott City, Missouri. Now this isn't just another early 60s cruiser sitting quietly in someone's garage. What we're looking at here is a 1963.5 Galaxy R-Code clone. A tribute to one of the most feared factory drag cars of its time, the legendary Ford Galaxy lightweight performance machines that Ford unleashed during the height of the horsepower wars. Let's rewind to 1963 for a second. This was the era when automakers were locked in a brutal battle for quarter-mile dominance. Ford answered the call with specially built R-Code Galaxies, cars designed to go fast in a straight line, plain and simple. Lightweight panels, stripped-down interiors, dual 4-barrel carburetors, and serious big-block power made them absolute monsters at the drag strip. This particular car pays homage to that wild chapter in American performance history. Under the hood, you've got the iconic 2x4 setup, dual 4-barrel carburetors sitting proudly on top of a V8. That alone tells you this car means business. It's paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, which means you're fully engaged every time you row through the gears. No computers, no driver aids, just you, the clutch, and raw mechanical power. And here's where it gets even better. Unlike the original lightweight race cars that were stripped for speed, this one blends performance with comfort. It's equipped with power steering and power brakes, making it far more enjoyable on the street. You get that vintage dragstrip attitude without sacrificing drivability. Then there are the electric cutouts. With the push of a button, you can open up the exhaust and let that V8 roar exactly the way it was meant to. Cruising quietly through town? Keep them closed. Pulling into a car meet or lining up for a little friendly competition? Open them up and let everyone know you've arrived. The car is described as used, like new, showing 50,000 miles. That mileage suggests it's been enjoyed but not abused. And visually, a white exterior on a classic coupe body like this just works. The 1963 Galaxy design has that long, low, wide stance that screams vintage American performance. The clean body lines, the squared-off rear quarters, the aggressive yet classy front end, it's a design that feels substantial and confident even standing still. One thing that makes tribute cars like this so appealing is accessibility. Authentic R-Code Galaxies are incredibly rare and can command prices that put them far out of reach for most enthusiasts. A well-built clone, on the other hand, allows you to experience the look, the sound, and the spirit of those original race-bred machines without stepping into ultra-collector territory. And let's talk about presence. This isn't a subtle car. When you roll into a show or cruise night in a 63 Galaxy with dual quads and a 4-speed, people notice. It's not as common as a Mustang. It's not as expected as a Camaro. It stands apart, especially for those who appreciate full-size muscle, big cars with big engines, and even bigger personality. Driving something like this is a completely different experience compared to modern performance cars. Today's vehicles are faster on paper, sure, but they isolate you. This Galaxy connects you. You feel the vibration through the steering wheel. You hear the induction noise when those carburetors open up. You manage the shifts. You control the rhythm of the car. At $55,000, this isn't an entry-level classic, but it represents a serious piece of nostalgic American performance. For someone who appreciates early 60s drag racing heritage, who wants a car that tells a story every time it fires up, this Galaxy makes a bold statement. It's not just transportation. It's a time capsule from the golden era of horsepower, reborn in a package you can actually drive and enjoy. If you're into old-school muscle, manual transmissions, and the unmistakable sound of dual quads breathing through open pipes, this 1963 Galaxy might be exactly the kind of classic that turns your garage into something special. Number 2. 1972 Buick Skylark Custom Coupe 2D, offered at $15,000 and currently located in Washington, Missouri. If you've been waiting for a true early 70s GM A-body that's already had the heavy mechanical lifting done, this Skylark deserves a serious look. Finished in a classic beige exterior over a rich brown interior, this custom coupe carries that unmistakable long hood, short deck profile that defined Buick's midsize lineup during the golden age of American cruising. At first glance, it's the kind of car that feels honest. Not overbuilt, not overhyped, just a solid classic with the right foundation. It shows 104,000 miles on the odometer, but the heart of this Buick tells a much fresher story. Under the hood sits a recently rebuilt Buick 352-barrel V8, bored .030 over, with only about 800 miles on the build. That means you're essentially getting a fresh motor that's barely been broken in. The oil was just changed on February 26th, so it's ready for its next chapter. And it's not just the engine that's been refreshed. The seller notes a long list of new components: a new water pump, alternator, power steering pump, distributor, fuel pump, thermostat, and a rebuilt Rochester 2-jet carburetor. When you add that all together, it paints a picture of a car that's been carefully brought back to strong running condition rather than simply patched up. The transmission has also been gone through and reportedly shifts smoothly into gear, giving you confidence whether you're cruising through town or stretching its legs on the highway. Step inside, and the condition continues to impress. The brown interior appears extremely well preserved. The seats have no tears, the headliner is intact and clean, and the carpet is described as perfect. Nearly everything electrical is in working order. The only minor quirks mentioned are a speedometer light that's currently out and a clock that doesn't function consistently, though the second hand occasionally moves, hinting that it might be reparable. These are small details in the grand scheme of a 50-plus-year-old classic. One important note: the car does not have climate control components. Depending on your plans, that may not matter much, especially if you're envisioning this as a fair-weather cruiser, weekend show car, or nostalgic Sunday driver. Beyond the car itself, the seller includes a collection of miscellaneous spare parts, adding extra value and flexibility for the next owner. That's always a bonus with vintage vehicles, especially if you enjoy tinkering or plan to take the build a step further. Stylistically, the 1972 Skylark sits at an interesting crossroads in GM design history. It still carries the muscular undertones of the late muscle car era, but with a slightly more refined, mature presence. The custom trim level adds subtle touches that elevate it above a base model, making it a comfortable and stylish way to experience classic American motoring without stepping into six-figure territory. The seller is asking $15,000 and is open to negotiation, which makes this an approachable entry point into the classic Buick world. Trades are also being considered, particularly for a 1968 Chevrolet Chevelle or other 1968 GM A-body models, as well as GM cars and trucks from the 1960s through the early 1970s. That flexibility could open the door for the right enthusiast looking to make a swap. Overall, this Skylark feels like a well-sorted driver with strong mechanical updates, a clean interior, and the kind of vintage presence that turns heads at gas stations and cruise nights alike. It's not just about horsepower numbers or rarity stats, it's about the experience. The sound of a freshly rebuilt Buick 350. The smooth shift of a sorted automatic transmission. The feel of a big American coupe floating down the road the way it was meant to. For someone wanting a dependable classic with character, solid investment in mechanical work, and room to personalize if desired, this 1972 Buick Skylark Custom Coupe could be a very compelling option. Number 3. 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu, offered at $65,000 and currently located in Richmond, Illinois. Now this is where things get serious. When you hear 1970 Chevelle, you already know you're stepping into one of the most iconic years in American muscle car history. But this particular Malibu isn't just surviving on reputation, it's been fully reborn through a true body-off-frame restoration. And that phrase matters. This car wasn't simply repainted and detailed. The body was completely removed from the frame. The frame itself was sandblasted clean and refinished, giving the car a solid structural foundation that's as clean underneath as it is on top. That kind of work takes time, money, and commitment, and it shows. Let's talk bodywork. This Chevelle received a brand new welded full floor, new welded rear quarter panels, and new doors. Not patches. Not filler-heavy repairs. Proper welded replacements. That means structural integrity, clean panel gaps, and a car that feels tight and substantial, the way a freshly built classic should. Finished in a deep dark green metallic with painted-on stripes, this Malibu doesn't scream for attention, it commands it. The color choice is bold yet tasteful, especially paired with a matching green interior. It keeps that unmistakable 1970s personality intact while presenting like a modern high-end restoration. In sunlight, that metallic paint is going to come alive. Under the hood, you'll find a stock 350 cubic inch small block V8, the heart of countless GM muscle machines. It's paired with a TH350 automatic transmission and a proven 10-bolt rear end. This isn't some radical race build. It's a balanced, street-focused setup designed to be driven and enjoyed. But don't mistake stock for boring. This engine breathes through a 650 CFM Edelbrock 4-barrel carburetor mounted on an aluminum intake manifold. Add headers and a brand new dual exhaust system, and you've got that deep, unmistakable small block rumble, the kind that turns heads at stoplights and makes tunnel drives unforgettable. Mechanically, this car has been comprehensively refreshed. New tubular control arms improve handling geometry and steering response. New front and rear coil springs and shocks bring back that firm, confident ride. The braking system has been redone, including new brake lines, something many restorations overlook. Fresh body bushings tighten up the chassis feel. New fuel lines and a new gas tank ensure reliability. Even the weather stripping has been replaced, which means fewer rattles, better sealing, and a more refined driving experience. And here's something you don't always see in muscle cars of this era: working air conditioning. That single feature dramatically increases real-world usability. This isn't just a weekend trailer queen. This is a car you could comfortably cruise in during the summer. With 76,662 miles showing and a clean title, the seller reports no significant damage or issues. That places this Chevelle in a very desirable category, fully restored, mechanically sorted, and ready to drive. Now let's address the price. At $65,000, this isn't an entry-level project. But you have to consider what it would cost to replicate this build today: sourcing clean sheet metal, performing a body-off restoration, repainting to this level, refreshing suspension, rebuilding mechanical systems. The labor alone would be substantial. When viewed through that lens, this starts to look less like a gamble and more like a completed vision. The 1970 model year remains one of the most sought-after designs in the Chevelle lineage: aggressive front fascia, muscular rear stance, and proportions that perfectly define the golden age of Detroit performance. Whether you're pulling into a cars and coffee event, a local cruise night, or simply opening your garage to admire it, this Malibu delivers that emotional impact. This isn't just transportation. It's nostalgia, craftsmanship, and American muscle heritage wrapped into one freshly restored package. For someone looking for a turnkey classic with strong visual presence, solid mechanical upgrades, and the pedigree of one of the most recognizable muscle cars ever built, this 1970 Chevelle Malibu checks a lot of boxes. And in today's market, cars restored to this level don't stay available for long. If your channel focuses on iconic American classics with real investment-grade potential, this one definitely deserves attention. Number 4, 1968 Chevrolet Caprice 2-door, offered at $24,900 and currently located in Richmond, Illinois. If you're a fan of full-size American classics with real presence, this Chevrolet Caprice might be exactly what you've been waiting for. The late 1960s were a golden era for big-body Chevrolets, and the Caprice stood at the top of the lineup, blending luxury, power, and bold styling into one smooth cruising package. This particular example is powered by its original 327 cubic inch V8 engine, paired with the legendary turbo Hydromatic 400 automatic transmission. That combination alone tells you a lot. The 327 is known for its balanced performance, strong enough to move a full-size coupe with confidence, yet smooth and refined for comfortable highway cruising. The TH400 transmission has long been respected for durability and seamless shifting, making this Caprice not just a showpiece, but a car you can truly enjoy on the road. The odometer reads 58,849 miles, and considering the remarkable condition of the vehicle, those miles are believed to be original. It runs and drives well with no fluid leaks reported, which is exactly what you want from a classic of this caliber. This isn't a project car or a fixer-upper. It's a well-preserved cruiser ready to hit the streets. Visually, the car presents beautifully in white, a timeless color that highlights the Caprice's long, flowing body lines. The paint shows nicely with no noticeable dings, chips, or rust, giving the car a clean and dignified appearance. Complementing the white exterior is a black vinyl top, adding that unmistakable late 60s touch of upscale style. It's the kind of contrast that makes the car stand out without being flashy. Step inside and you're greeted by a black cloth and vinyl interior that remains in impressive condition. No rips, no cracks, just a well-kept cabin that reflects careful ownership. The seats, door panels, and trim all maintain that authentic vintage feel. The glass is clear and scratch-free, and the chrome bumpers shine brightly, reinforcing the car's overall clean presentation. From a driving standpoint, this Caprice comes equipped with power steering and front disc power brakes, features that make a big difference when piloting a full-size classic. Even better, recent front brake work has been completed, including new pads, rotors, calipers, spindles, and wheel bearings. That kind of maintenance adds real value and peace of mind. The air conditioning is also functional, which makes this car an even more enjoyable cruiser during warm summer drives. What really sets this Caprice apart is its originality. In a market filled with heavily modified classics, there's something special about finding a car that still represents what it was when it left the factory. It captures the era when American cars were built big, bold, and comfortable, designed for long highway stretches and effortless cruising. With a clean title and no significant damage or known issues, this 1968 Caprice offers a compelling opportunity for collectors and enthusiasts alike. Whether you're looking to add a full-size Chevy to your collection, relive the glory days of late 60s American motoring, or simply own a classic that turns heads without trying too hard, this one checks all the right boxes. At $24,900, it represents a solid value for a clean, original, and well-maintained two-door Caprice. Cars like this don't just tell a story, they carry history in every curve of the body and every rumble from the V8. Number 5. 1968 Ford Mustang Fastback Shelby GT 350 Tribute, offered at $89,500 and currently located in Bloomington, Illinois. Now this is where classic American muscle truly comes alive. If you close your eyes and imagine the golden era of late 1960s performance cars, chances are a Fastback Mustang is exactly what you see. Long hood, short deck, aggressive stance, and that unmistakable presence that turns heads before the engine even starts. This particular 1968 Fastback Shelby GT 350 Tribute captures that spirit beautifully, blending authentic styling with modern drivability in a way that makes it more than just a showpiece. It's a car you can actually enjoy. Let's start with the exterior. Finished in rare factory presidential blue, this Mustang has a laser-straight body and show-quality paint that looks deep enough to swim in. Under sunlight, that blue pops with a richness that instantly commands attention. The Shelby-inspired body kit gives it a more aggressive edge, adding just the right amount of race-bred attitude without overdoing it. It's bold but still tasteful, muscular but refined. And yes, this is a true C-code fastback, not a converted coupe. That matters. The fastback roofline is one of the most iconic silhouettes in American automotive history, and this one wears it perfectly. Sitting on brand new Magnum 500 wheels wrapped in BF Goodrich radial tires, the stance is exactly what you want: wide, planted, and ready to move. Under the hood, you'll find the factory 289 two-barrel V8 engine. It's the kind of small block that defined an era. Fire it up, and you get that classic Ford rumble, not overly loud, not obnoxious, just pure, mechanical music. The engine is paired with an automatic floor-shift transmission, making this car incredibly approachable. Whether you're an experienced collector or someone stepping into classic muscle for the first time, this Mustang is easy to drive and easy to love. A new Edelbrock carburetor helps deliver crisp throttle response, while the 2.79 rear axle ratio keeps things smooth and comfortable at cruising speeds. Power steering makes low-speed maneuvering effortless, and the front disc brakes paired with rear drums provide confident stopping power. This isn't a temperamental garage queen, it's a turnkey classic ready for weekend drives, summer car shows, and late-night cruises. Inside, the black interior keeps things classic and clean. Factory bucket seats give you that authentic late 60s feel the moment you sit down. The layout is simple, driver-focused, and timeless. At the same time, a Kenwood Bluetooth stereo has been discreetly added, allowing you to enjoy modern audio convenience without compromising the vintage atmosphere. It's the best of both worlds, old-school style with just enough modern comfort. With only 10,000 miles showing since restoration, this Mustang presents exceptionally well. The restoration work clearly focused on quality and detail, preserving the car's character while refreshing it for reliable enjoyment. It also comes with a full Marti report, offering documentation and added confidence for buyers who value authenticity and history. The title is clean and clear, the vehicle is fully paid off, and at $89,500, with offers and trades welcomed, this fastback sits in that sweet spot for collectors looking for something iconic, show-ready, and immediately drivable. But beyond the specs and features, what really makes this car special is how it makes you feel. A 1968 fastback isn't just transportation, it's a time machine. It takes you back to an era when performance was raw, design was daring, and driving was an experience, not just a commute. This is the kind of Mustang that doesn't just sit quietly in a garage. It demands to be seen. It invites conversation. It turns routine drives into events. And when you park it at a show, people don't just walk past. They stop, they look, and they remember why cars like this became legends in the first place. If you've been waiting for the right classic muscle car, one that blends authentic style, strong mechanicals, and undeniable presence, this 1968 Ford Mustang Fastback Shelby GT350 Tribute might just be the one. And in today's classic car world, finding a well-restored, turnkey fastback in this condition isn't getting any easier. Number 6. 1967 Pontiac GTO, offered at $33,000 and currently located in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now here's a car that represents the golden age of American muscle almost perfectly. The 1967 model year was one of the most iconic moments for the legendary Pontiac GTO, a machine that helped define what the muscle car era was all about. Built by Pontiac during the peak of Detroit's horsepower wars, the GTO quickly earned a reputation for combining aggressive styling with serious V8 performance. And this particular example captures that spirit beautifully. Finished in a glossy blue paint that immediately grabs attention, this GTO has the kind of visual presence that classic car enthusiasts love. The deep blue finish reflects light cleanly and highlights the strong body lines of the car. From a distance, it looks bold and confident, but when you get closer, the details start to stand out even more. Up front, the car features the desirable stacked headlight design that became a signature element of the 1967 model. That aggressive front-end layout gives the GTO a face that feels powerful even when the engine isn't running. Between the headlights sits a chain mesh grille that adds a performance-oriented touch, while the hood scoop reminds everyone that this car was built with speed in mind. Moving around the body, bright chrome bumpers, trim pieces, and factory-style badging add contrast against the blue paint. Everything works together to give the car a classic, well-preserved appearance. The glass looks clean, the body lines remain sharp, and the panel gaps appear consistent, suggesting the car has been cared for over the years. The stance is completed by a set of 15-inch Kragar SS wheels, an absolute staple of vintage American performance builds. These wheels give the car that unmistakable old-school muscle attitude, the kind you'd expect to see rolling into a cruise night or rumbling down a boulevard on a warm summer evening. Step inside, and the black interior creates a strong contrast with the blue exterior. The cabin looks well coordinated, with upholstery, door panels, carpeting, and the dashboard all presenting solid fundamentals. It's the kind of interior that feels authentic to the era but still comfortable enough for regular driving. There are also a few thoughtful upgrades inside. An upgraded AM/FM cassette stereo adds a bit of nostalgia for anyone who grew up during the tape deck era, while additional auxiliary gauges and a large tachometer help keep an eye on what's happening under the hood. And right there in the center console sits a Hurst shifter, one of the most iconic pieces of hardware in muscle car culture. That shifter connects directly to a 4-speed manual transmission, which means driving this car is a fully hands-on experience. Every shift, every rev, and every burst of acceleration is something you control. Under the hood is where things get really interesting. Power comes from a 400 cubic inch V8, a year-correct block that stays true to the car's heritage. Feeding that engine is a Holley 4-barrel carburetor, a setup well known among enthusiasts for delivering strong throttle response and reliable performance. Long tube headers help the engine breathe better and give the exhaust note that deep, aggressive tone muscle car fans love. Put your foot down, and this combination produces the kind of sound and acceleration that made the GTO famous in the first place. Despite its performance focus, the car isn't stripped down or uncomfortable. It's equipped with power steering and power brakes, which make it much easier to handle compared to some of the more raw muscle cars of the era. Those features make a big difference if you plan to actually drive the car regularly instead of just displaying it. The car also includes provisions for air conditioning, although it will need service before it's fully functional. For many classic car owners, that's a fairly minor task compared to the overall package being offered here. With just 29,769 miles showing and described as being in excellent condition, this GTO appears to be a well-preserved example of one of the most influential muscle cars ever produced. What makes the 1967 GTO special is the balance it offers. It's aggressive without being overstyled. It's powerful without being overly complicated. And it represents a moment in automotive history when performance cars were simple, mechanical, and incredibly fun to drive. At $33,000, this car sits in an interesting place in the classic car market. It's not a budget project, but it's also far more accessible than many high-end collector muscle cars that have skyrocketed into six-figure territory. For someone looking to own a true piece of American muscle history, a car with style, sound, and presence, the 1967 GTO remains one of the most recognizable and respected choices out there. Number 7. 1968 Oldsmobile Toronado Coupe 2D, offered at $14,500 and currently located in Rochester, Minnesota. If you're looking for a classic that dares to be different, something bold, innovative, and unmistakably late 60s American, this Toronado stands in a category of its own. While most muscle-era coupes followed the traditional rear-wheel drive formula, the Toronado broke the rules with its advanced front-wheel drive layout and futuristic styling. Even today, it feels like a car that was ahead of its time. Finished in a striking gold exterior over a green interior, this coupe captures the spirit of 1968 in a way few cars can. It shows 94,500 miles and is described as being in good condition with a clean title and no significant damage or known problems. With over 3 owners in its lifetime, it has clearly been appreciated and preserved rather than neglected. Under the hood sits the legendary 455 Rocket V8, rated at an impressive 375 horsepower when new. This example retains its original 4-barrel Rochester carburetor, which has been rebuilt to keep things running strong and responsive. The 455 Rocket wasn't just about straight-line power, it delivered smooth, effortless torque that made highway cruising feel almost effortless. Paired with an automatic transmission, this Toronado offers that classic big block glide that defined American luxury performance in the late 60s. Mechanically, the seller highlights a long list of updates that make this car far more than just a vintage showpiece. It features new front disc brakes, fresh tires, electronic ignition, new shocks, ball joints, hoses, and belts. Those are the kinds of upgrades that matter. Improvements that enhance reliability and drivability rather than just appearance. There's even a solid copper core spare radiator included, valued at around $800, which adds both peace of mind and tangible value to the package. The factory rims and center caps remain in place, helping preserve the car's authentic presence. Inside, the interior is described as fair and largely original, complemented by a new headliner. For those who appreciate a blend of vintage style with modern convenience, the audio system has been tastefully upgraded with a Pioneer CD/Bluetooth head unit, 4 kicker speakers, and a 200-watt amplifier. That means you can enjoy classic V8 power with a modern soundtrack if you choose. What makes the 1968 Toronado especially compelling is its design. The hidden headlamps, long sweeping body lines, and dramatic front-end styling give it a look that still turns heads decades later. It's not just another midsize muscle car, It's a full-size personal luxury coupe with attitude. A car that makes a statement pulling into a cruise night, cars and coffee event, or even just your local gas station. At $14,500 or best offer, this Toronado represents an intriguing value for someone who wants big block power, distinctive engineering, and true late 60s presence without venturing into six-figure territory. It's paid off, comes with a clean title, and is offered for cash only. For enthusiasts who appreciate innovation, bold styling, and the thunderous character of the 455 Rocket, this 1968 Oldsmobile Toronado isn't just a car. It's a conversation piece, a rolling time capsule, and a reminder of when American automakers weren't afraid to take risks and build something revolutionary. Number 8. 1967 Ford Galaxie 500 Convertible, offered at $28,000 and currently located in Saginaw, Minnesota. Now this one is special, and not because it's flashy or heavily modified. It's special because it's honest. We're looking at a one-owner, all-original 1967 Galaxie 500 Convertible. In today's classic car world, the phrase, one owner, carries serious weight. It tells a story of long-term care, familiarity, and a vehicle that hasn't been passed around, altered, or reimagined multiple times. This car has lived one life, and that kind of history is becoming harder and harder to find. Finished in true full-size Ford fashion, the Galaxie 500 Convertible represents the golden era of American open-top cruising. The proportions are long, wide, and unapologetically bold. This wasn't a compact weekend toy. This was a boulevard cruiser built for smooth highways, summer evenings, and effortless presence. Under the hood, this example is a factory 390 cubic inch V8 car, and even better, it's numbers matching. That matters. A matching numbers drivetrain reinforces authenticity and preserves collector value. The 390 FE Big Block was known for delivering strong torque and smooth power delivery, perfectly suited for a full-size convertible like this. It's not just about speed, it's about that deep, confident pull as you roll onto the throttle. Pair that engine with the open-top experience, and you've got a classic American formula that never goes out of style. The seller describes the car as all original and in good condition. That suggests this isn't an over-restored showpiece. It's a preserved survivor. Original cars carry a different kind of appeal. The paint, trim, interior materials, and mechanical components tell the story of 1967 in a way that restored cars sometimes can't. There's authenticity in originality. And with an asking price of $28,000, reduced from $38,000, it positions this Galaxie in an interesting spot in the market. Full-size convertibles from the 1960s have been gaining appreciation, especially examples that remain unmodified and well-documented. The fact that this car is reportedly a single-owner vehicle adds another layer of desirability. Let's also consider what the Galaxie 500 represented in 1967. This was Ford competing directly in the full-size segment during one of the most competitive eras in Detroit history. The styling was clean but substantial, with stacked headlights, a broad grille, and a long, flowing bodyline that looks even better with the top down. It was luxury without being pretentious, performance without being wild, a perfect balance for its time. With only 32,000 miles showing, if accurate, that mileage further supports the preservation narrative. Low mileage, one owner, numbers matching, factory big block convertible. Those are strong keywords in any collector conversation. Now, this isn't a drag strip monster or a pro touring restomod. This car lives in a different lane. It's about relaxed cruising, originality, and owning a piece of American automotive history exactly as it left the factory. Imagine pulling this into a local cruise night, top down, big block rumbling softly, chrome trim catching the light. It doesn't need oversized wheels or modern upgrades to stand out. Its presence comes from its size, its authenticity, and its story equals. For someone who values originality over modification, history over hype, and classic American comfort over aggressive performance builds, this 1967 Galaxie 500 convertible checks some very compelling boxes. Number 9. 1968 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 396, offered at $72,500 and currently located in Lenexa, Kansas. When it comes to late 60s American muscle, few names carry the same weight and street credibility as the Chevrolet Chevelle SS 396. This isn't just another classic coupe. This is the kind of car that defined an era of horsepower wars, stoplight showdowns, and bold factory performance. Finished in an eye-catching blue exterior with a black interior, this Chevelle strikes that perfect balance between aggression and sophistication. The 68 model year marked a major redesign for the Chevelle, introducing a more sculpted body, muscular rear haunches, and a wider, more planted stance. It's a body style that looks fast even when standing still, and in SS 396 form, it absolutely lives up to the promise. Under the hood, you're looking at what truly makes this car special, the original numbers matching 396 cubic inch big block V8. That's right, the factory motor that belongs in this car is still part of the package. Even better, the original numbers matching manual transmission comes with it as well. For collectors and serious enthusiasts, that kind of originality is a major value point. Matching numbers mean authenticity, and authenticity means long-term desirability. With 80,000 miles showing on the odometer, this Chevelle presents itself in excellent condition. While it was not a full frame-off restoration, it's described as being very close in overall quality. The car was repainted back in 1997, but here's the key detail. It has been stored indoors ever since. As a result, the paint still shows extremely well, maintaining its shine and depth decades later. That kind of long-term indoor storage makes a huge difference in preserving both cosmetic and structural integrity. Inside, the black interior complements the blue exterior perfectly. The cabin maintains that classic muscle car feel, simple, driver-focused, and purpose-built. In a true SS 396 with a manual transmission, the driving experience is raw and engaging. You're not just steering, you're commanding a big block machine that was built in one of the most competitive performance eras in automotive history. The 396 Big Block was Chevrolet's answer to the growing demand for serious street power in the late 1960s. With abundant torque and unmistakable exhaust tone, the SS 396 quickly became a symbol of factory muscle dominance. This wasn't just about looks, it was about performance that could back up the bold SS badging. What also makes this example stand out is its overall condition. It's described as having no significant damage or problems, and it comes with a clean title. For a car of this caliber, especially one retaining its original drivetrain components, condition and documentation are everything. At $72,500, this Chevelle sits in a category reserved for serious collectors and muscle car enthusiasts who understand what they're looking at. You're not just buying a 1968 coupe. You're investing in one of the most respected muscle car platforms ever produced, in a highly desirable SS 396 configuration, with numbers matching originality included. Whether your goal is weekend car shows, curated collections, or simply owning a piece of true American muscle history, this Lenexa, Kansas Chevelle offers a compelling opportunity. Cars like this don't come around every day, especially with the kind of originality that collectors search for. Number 10, 1965 Ford Thunderbird, offered at $19,500 and currently located in Boonville, Missouri. There's something undeniably special about a mid-60s Thunderbird. By 1965, the T-Bird had fully evolved from its early two-seat sports car roots into a personal luxury coupe that defined style, comfort, and quiet V8 power. This hardtop Landau coupe represents that era perfectly, bold, elegant, and unmistakably American. Finished in a clean off-white exterior paired with a black interior, this Thunderbird carries a timeless color combination that highlights its long, sculpted body lines. The Landau roof styling gives it that signature formal look, adding an extra touch of sophistication that set these cars apart from the typical muscle machines of the day. Instead of shouting for attention, this car commands it with presence. Under the hood sits the legendary 390 cubic inch V8 engine, a powerplant known for delivering smooth, confident performance. It's not just about speed, it's about effortless cruising. Paired with an automatic transmission, this Thunderbird was built for comfortable highway drives and relaxed weekend outings. You press the pedal, and the 390 responds with that deep, classic Ford rumble that defined mid-60s motoring. This particular example shows just 33,930 miles, and recent maintenance has already been taken care of. A new battery has been installed, along with all new belts, plus a fresh oil and filter change completed in July 2025. That means it's ready to be driven and enjoyed without immediate extra expense, something any classic car buyer can appreciate. The car retains its original Thunderbird hubcaps, preserving that authentic factory appearance. Details like that matter. They help maintain the integrity of the vehicle and keep its classic personality intact. It's a reminder that this isn't a heavily modified build. It's a preserved piece of Ford's luxury performance history. Step inside, and the black interior complements the off-white exterior beautifully. The cabin of a '65 Thunderbird was designed with comfort in mind. Wide seats, a sweeping dashboard layout, and a driver-focused feel that still looks impressive decades later. This was Ford's vision of upscale American motoring during the mid-1960s, and it shows in every detail. At $19,500, this Thunderbird sits at an attractive price point for someone looking to enter the classic car world without stepping into six-figure territory. It offers V8 power, iconic styling, and that unmistakable personal luxury coupe presence, all wrapped into one clean, drivable package. This isn't a high-strung muscle car. It's not a stripped-down hot rod. It's something different. It's the kind of car you take out on a sunny afternoon, windows down, letting that 390 V8 hum as you glide down the highway. It's about comfort, confidence, and cruising in style. The 1965 Thunderbird represents a time when American cars were bold, expressive, and built with character. And this example, located in Boonville, Missouri, gives you the opportunity to own a piece of that era, ready to drive, ready to enjoy, and ready to turn heads wherever it goes. Number 11, 1967 Pontiac GTO, offered at $62,000 and currently available in Port Byron, Illinois. Now this is the kind of classic that doesn't just sit in a garage, it makes a statement the moment you see it. The 1967 model year is widely considered one of the finest evolutions of the legendary Pontiac GTO, and this particular two-door coupe checks nearly every box for collectors and enthusiasts alike. Finished in stunning Tyrol blue with a black interior, this GTO delivers that perfect muscle car contrast. The paint color alone sets it apart. Tyrol blue has just the right balance. Bold without being loud, classy without being understated. Pair that with the black interior and redline tires, and you've got a combination that feels period correct and visually aggressive at the same time. Under the hood sits a very stock-looking engine bay, housing a 400 cubic inch V8. The seller notes it as a 400 small block, but what really matters here is that it retains a clean, factory-style presentation. For many buyers, that stock appearance is a huge plus. It suggests the car hasn't been overly modified or heavily altered from its original character. Backing that V8 is one of the coolest features Pontiac ever offered, the famous his/hers shifter. Officially known as the dual-gate shifter, it gave drivers the convenience of an automatic with the ability to manually shift through the gears. It's one of those iconic 1960s innovations that perfectly captures the creativity of the muscle car era. This GTO is also equipped with power steering and power brakes, making it much more enjoyable to drive than some of the more stripped-down performance cars of the time. Add an air conditioning and an AM/FM radio, and you've got a classic that isn't just about power, it's about cruising in comfort. The redline tires are a subtle but important detail. They immediately signal that this car respects its roots. Combined with clean chrome trim, strong body lines, and the unmistakable stacked headlight front end that defined the '67 model, the overall presentation feels authentic and well thought out. And then there's one of the most important lines in the entire listing: exceptionally clean, no rust. For a 1967 vehicle, that statement carries serious weight. Rust is often the hidden enemy of classic cars, especially in Midwestern states. A clean, rust-free body significantly increases long-term value and peace of mind. The VIN prefix, 242, is another important detail for Pontiac enthusiasts. That designation confirms this car was born as a true GTO and not a clone or Lemons conversion. In today's collector market, authenticity matters, And having a genuine GTO foundation adds credibility and long-term desirability. At $62,000, this car sits in a higher tier of the market compared to driver quality examples. But based on the description, used like new condition, exceptionally clean, strong factory presentation, it's positioned as a well-preserved, investment-grade muscle car rather than a project or weekend fixer. The 1967 GTO represents a sweet spot in muscle car history. It carries the raw spirit of the mid-60s horsepower wars, but with refined styling and features that make it genuinely livable today. It's aggressive, but not over the top. Classic, but not outdated. And perhaps most importantly, it's instantly recognizable. Even people who aren't hardcore car enthusiasts know the name GTO. It was one of the original muscle cars that helped start it all under the Pontiac division of General Motors. This isn't just another old coupe. It's a symbol of an era when Detroit built cars with attitude, when performance mattered, and when style was just as important as speed. If you're looking for a 1967 GTO that blends authenticity, clean presentation, desirable factory options, and strong collector appeal, this Tyrol Blue example in Port Byron might be exactly the kind of muscle car that turns a good collection into a great one. Number 12, 1969 Pontiac Grand Prix SJ, offered at $17,500 and currently located in Dowse, Iowa. If you're searching for a classic that blends muscle car attitude with personal luxury styling, this 69 Grand Prix SJ checks all the right boxes. With just 2 owners and 85,000 miles on the odometer, this Pontiac represents a well-preserved example of one of the most stylish and influential designs of the late 1960s. Finished in a bold purple exterior over a black interior, this Grand Prix makes a strong first impression. The 1969 redesign was a major turning point for Pontiac, introducing a longer hood, shorter deck, and a more aggressive stance that separated it from the crowd. It wasn't just another full-size coupe, it was a statement car, built for drivers who wanted performance wrapped in upscale design. Under the hood sits a 400 cubic inch V8, delivering the kind of torque and sound that defined Pontiac's golden era. This example has been upgraded with a new Edelbrock 4-barrel carburetor, enhancing throttle response and overall drivability. According to the seller, the car runs great and has recently undergone a thorough service and safety check, making it road-ready for its next owner. Maintenance updates include all new belts, wires, and gaskets, a fresh oil change, a brand new battery, and a complete tune-up. The front end has been rebuilt and aligned, which is a major plus for anyone who values tight steering and confident highway cruising. Add in a set of great tires, and you have a classic that's ready to be driven, not just admired in the garage. One of the most appealing claims here is no rust. For a 1969 vehicle, that's a significant advantage and speaks to careful ownership over the years. The black interior complements the bold exterior color, creating a sharp, performance-oriented look that still feels refined. As an SJ model, this Grand Prix carries an extra layer of prestige, as the SJ trim represented a higher performance and better-equipped version within the lineup. At $17,500, this 1969 Pontiac Grand Prix SJ positions itself as a strong value in today's classic car market, especially considering its condition, recent service work, and desirable trim level. It offers the rumble of a 400 V8, the elegance of late 60s Pontiac design, and the comfort of a Grand Touring coupe all in one package. For enthusiasts who want a classic that stands out from the usual muscle car crowd while still delivering authentic V8 performance, this Grand Prix could be the perfect balance of power, presence, and drivability. Number 13, 1971 Chevrolet Camaro Coupe 2D, offered at $33,900 and currently located in Benson, Minnesota. Now we're stepping into second-generation Camaro territory, and this is where muscle starts blending with attitude. The 1971 model year sits in a unique sweet spot. It still carries that aggressive early 70s styling before emissions regulations and bumper changes began softening the look. Long hood, low roofline, wide stance. The proportions alone tell you this car was built to perform. Finished in blue with a black interior, this Camaro has the kind of color combination that never goes out of style. It's bold without being overdone. Purposeful. The seller describes the paint as smooth and the interior as very nice, which suggests this car presents well both at a standstill and up close. But let's get to the heart of this build. Under the hood sits a built 454 cubic inch big block. That changes the entire personality of the car. From the factory, a 1971 Camaro didn't typically come with a 454, so this isn't about originality. This is about presence and power. A built 454 means serious torque. The kind of torque that pushes you back into the seat the moment you touch the throttle. It's topped with a Wian Stealth intake, supported by a Mallory HEI ignition system, and dressed with Edelbrock valve covers and matching air cleaner. There's also a serpentine belt setup, which adds both reliability and a cleaner engine bay appearance. This isn't a thrown-together swap. It sounds like a thoughtfully assembled street machine. Power is sent through an automatic transmission to a 10-bolt Posey rear end. That limited slip differential is important. It means both rear tires are putting power down, exactly what you want when dealing with big block torque. And this car isn't just about going fast in a straight line. It retains factory power steering and front disc brakes, giving it better drivability and safer stopping power compared to earlier drum setups. A new exhaust system completes the package, which likely means it sounds just as aggressive as it looks. Structurally, the seller notes solid floors and trunk, critical areas on early 70s F-bodies. Rust is often the deciding factor with cars like this, so hearing that those areas are solid adds confidence. Visually, it features a fiberglass cowl hood, giving it that unmistakable muscle car profile. Add a set of Z/28 wheels, and you get a factory-inspired performance look that suits the car perfectly. It walks the line between custom and classic without going too far in either direction. With 99,999 miles showing, this Camaro has clearly lived a life, but sometimes that's not a downside. Cars that have been driven, sorted, and upgraded often feel more dialed in than garage-bound projects. At $33,900, this Camaro sits in an interesting part of the market. It's not priced like a Concours Correct collector piece, and it's not bargain basement either. It's positioned as a ready-to-enjoy, big block-powered street machine. And when you factor in the cost of building a 454 setup like this today, parts, labor, tuning, the value proposition starts to make sense. This isn't a numbers-matching preservation car. It's a driver's Camaro. The kind you fire up on a Saturday morning just to hear it idle. The kind you take to local cruise nights and instantly draw a crowd when you pop the hood. The kind that reminds people why big block swaps became such a staple of the muscle car scene in the first place. If you're looking for originality, this may not be your path. But if you're looking for torque, attitude, and that unmistakable early 70s Camaro silhouette backed by real performance hardware, this 1971 example delivers exactly that energy. Number 14, 1972 Chevrolet Malibu Classic, offered at $30,000 and currently located in Spencer, Iowa. If you're looking for a classic that blends vintage muscle car attitude with serious performance upgrades, this Chevrolet Malibu might be exactly what deserves your attention. Representing the final year of the second-generation Chevelle body style, the 72 Malibu carries that unmistakable long hood, short deck profile that defined early 70s American street machines. Finished in a sharp charcoal exterior over a black interior, this Malibu strikes a clean, aggressive look without going over the top. It's a two-owner car showing 90,000 miles on the chassis, but here's where things get interesting. Under the hood sits a new 400 horsepower engine with only about 4,200 miles on it. That means you're getting classic styling backed by fresh performance. And this isn't just a mild refresh. This car has been thoughtfully upgraded to deliver a much more engaging driving experience. Power is sent through a 4-speed muslce rock crusher close ratio transmission, paired with an 11-inch clutch and a Hurst T-handle shifter. That setup alone transforms the personality of the car. Instead of a typical cruiser, you're looking at a hands-on, row-your-own-gears muscle machine that puts the driver fully in control. Out back, it features a 10-inch positraction rear end with 3.31 gears, a great balance between acceleration and highway drivability. Add in traction bars, and this Malibu is clearly built to put power to the pavement more effectively than your average classic. Stopping power has also been upgraded with new power front disc brakes, giving you more confidence behind the wheel. Other recent additions include a new battery, radiator, drive shaft, and inner front fenders, all signs that this car has received consistent attention and investment. Visually, the car keeps much of its original character. The vinyl top and most of the interior remain original, preserving that authentic early 70s feel. The exception is the addition of bucket seats and a center console, which complement the 4-speed setup perfectly. Odometer gauges have also been installed, giving the driver more precise performance readouts while adding a subtle performance-inspired touch to the cabin. Rolling on classic rally wheels, this Malibu maintains that timeless Chevrolet muscle stance. It doesn't scream for attention, it earns it. The charcoal paint paired with black trim gives it a tough, understated look that fits the era perfectly. What makes this car particularly appealing is the blend of originality and upgrades. You still get the classic Malibu identity, paid off, 2-owner history, and solid bones, but with modernized mechanical components that enhance reliability and driving excitement. It's not a trailer queen, and it's not a stripped-down race car. It lives in that sweet spot right in the middle. A street-driven muscle car you can enjoy, show, and actually use. At $30,000, this 1972 Malibu Classic offers a strong value for someone wanting vintage muscle styling with real horsepower and a manual transmission experience. It's a car that invites you to turn the key, grab the shifter, and feel connected to the road in a way modern cars just can't replicate. Number 15, 1995 Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra S Sedan 4D. Offered at just $500 and currently located in Thayer, Missouri. Now here's something a little different. Not a polished show car, not a restored classic, but a true budget find with real-world potential. This 1995 Cutlass Sierra represents an era when Oldsmobile built simple, dependable sedans designed to handle daily life without drama. Finished in blue with a matching blue interior, it carries that unmistakable mid-90s GM personality, practical, straightforward, and built to serve. Let's address the big detail up front. The motor has a knock. That means this isn't a turnkey daily driver in its current condition. But at $500, this car isn't being positioned as one. Instead, it opens the door for a few different possibilities, whether you're looking for a parts donor, a budget project, or a flip opportunity for someone who knows their way around an engine bay. With 135,554 miles on the odometer and an automatic transmission, this Cutlass has clearly seen regular use, but that's exactly what these cars were built for. They were made to rack up miles, commute to work, handle errands, and keep going year after year. Even now, it still has good tires, which alone add value at this price point. For someone who works on GM vehicles from the 1990s, this could be a practical source of parts, body panels, interior components, trim pieces, glass, wheels, and more. Clean examples of Cutlass Sierras are getting harder to find in junkyards, especially ones that are complete and not heavily stripped. Or maybe you're the kind of buyer who sees opportunity where others see problems. Engine knock doesn't always mean the end of the road. For the right mechanic or DIY enthusiast, it could mean a rebuild project, a motor swap, or even just a temporary fix to extend its life. At $500 OBO with trades considered, the risk is low and the flexibility is high. The exterior blue-on-blue color combination gives it a cohesive look, very much in line with mid-90s styling trends. It's not flashy, and it's not trying to be. This is honest transportation from a time when sedans were built with simplicity in mind. And let's not forget, this vehicle is paid off. No liens, no complicated paperwork. That makes the buying process straightforward and stress-free. Sometimes the best automotive deals aren't about prestige, they're about practicality. This 1995 Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra isn't pretending to be something it's not. It's a low-cost entry point, a parts resource, or a hands-on project waiting for the right owner. At just $500 in Thayer, Missouri, this is the kind of listing that appeals to mechanics, resellers, hobbyists, or anyone who appreciates getting maximum value for minimal investment.